Thank you for tuning in to Gloves Off Seattle. Your hosts, Patty and Megan, will be talking about all things Seattle women's hockey. A huge Pacific Northwest welcome to the PWHL. Gloves Off Seattle! Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.
Gloves Off Seattle.
Yes, and today we are joined by Joey Gale. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly, Joey. Is that correct?
That is.
Awesome. And Joey is representing the, I don't want to get this wrong, Seattle Pride Hockey Association. Is that correct?
That's us. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Job, babe.
I know, because I was like, okay, wait, it's not a club, it's an association.
Yes, indeed.
I love it. So, Joey, the first thing we always want to hear about from people before we even get started on all of that is we want to know, how did you get into hockey? Because we love hearing people's hockey origin stories. And so, yeah, do share, please.
Yes, well, first off, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's such a pleasure to share our story and connect with your group. But I grew up in the self-proclaimed state of hockey, Minnesota. So grew up playing, like any good Midwestern, any good Minnesotan. I started playing, oh gosh, probably by the time I was 2 or 3 years old. So, around the time I could start walking, I was skating it out on the ice. I had an older brother who was playing hockey at the time. So of course, once you start, you can't stop. So I grew up playing until the age of about 12 or 13. I started to sort of understand my own sexual identity and started to discover like hockey was kind of a toxic place back in the day, back in the locker rooms, especially for like a cis white gay guy.
Back in the day? Are we sure?
Back in the day.
There? Okay.
As youthful as I appear, I'm pushing 30s now, which I turned 33 in May. So back in my day.
He's still a baby. Okay. No, lovely. But, yeah, no, I get it.
100%. So stop playing.
Today, though.
Right. That's more what I was meaning. Like
making us.
No. Not there wasn't assumptions about age. It was more like especially in men's hockey, because obviously we deal a lot in women's hockey, which is a completely different environment as far as like queerness and inclusivity and that sort of thing. But like in the men's hockey environment, I believe we are probably only like 2 baby steps ahead of probably what you grew up in, 25 years ago or however long ago it was. So okay. Go on.
That's
no. I didn't mean to interrupt you. We want to hear your hockey story.
Yeah.
So you got to this point where
yeah.
It's a great call out. But yeah, I stopped playing for several years until I graduated from college and sort of slowly fell back in love with it right after graduating from school. And it just became that sport, that place where it's such a great outlet to not only have fun but exercise. But slowly started discovering this like Pride community. Right around the time I graduated was when Pride Tape launched. So I was, of course, was part of the early fundraising effort once that all came to be, and started playing with the Pride Tape. Fast forward a little bit, I moved out to Seattle in 2018 with my now husband, Austin, and I was playing in it was like not a learn to play, like a scrimmage of some sort, evaluation. So I could play in the adult league in Seattle, and it just so happened I was playing with that Pride Tape, and the now co-founder of Seattle Pride Hockey was there and spotted the Pride Tape, came up to me after and was like, "I haven't seen that before. Let's talk." Awesome. So sort of by way of chance, I found Steven, and we co-founded Seattle Pride Hockey Association.
That's amazing. Okay, so obviously, like that's how you got into hockey and how you got into Seattle hockey. Tell us about the formation of this association and how and what you guys are now. Like, I'm interested and honestly, like we're new enough to. I'm new enough to hockey. She's been a longtime hockey fan, but like new enough to the hockey community here in Seattle that like I know we went to Seattle Pride Classic just as a fun thing last year, but that was our first, like I don't know anything about you guys, and so we'd love to hear more about how it started.
Yeah, origin.
Origin stories.
Yeah, origin of Seattle Pride Hockey. So we right around the time I met Steven, there were sort of rumblings that Seattle was getting an NHL team at that time, and it was still sort of dubbed NHL Seattle. The group didn't even have a name yet. We weren't even called the Kraken by that point. And a group of us met in the basement of a local arena in 2018, and sort of just talked like, what would an organization look like? Like, how do you make a nonprofit? Like, is that what we're trying to do? We're trying to make, some hockey pride group. And that's where the idea of the organization came about. We wanted to create just an inclusive space for LGBTQ hockey players to celebrate hockey. We didn't know if we would host a tournament or if we would just be super fans of the NHL team at that time. But slowly, started making connections with NHL Seattle and started getting ourselves sort of ingrained into the hockey community at that time, and just learned how much love there was for hockey, how much love there was for queer hockey. And we formalized the organization, became a 501c3, and slowly but surely, 2020 rolled around. We were just starting to talk about hosting a tournament. And in 2021, we hosted our first event. It was a small scale event. We had 4 teams playing in a tournament. We called it the Seattle Pride Classic.
Okay, wait a minute. Like in
Yeah.
January of 2020 or
Oh, no,
February
no,
of
no.
2020?
We were looking, yeah, it was we were looking at March of 2020 to host our first event, and of course the
Yeah, I was
world
like,
fell
wait, we were
apart, and
talking
we were
about
like,
COVID time. Yeah, COVID times. Wow, wow. Okay.
exactly.
So the event didn't end up happening until 2021. Is that what we're
Exactly,
indicating? Okay.
exactly. Yep. So we were just starting to get our momentum, and we were like, "Here we go!" And then, just like everyone,
Yeah.
the world threw us some different cards.
Pause.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so 2021 rolls around, and we host our first ever Seattle Pride Classic. There was so much love from the community at that first event. Met our first sponsor at that time, Symetra, has been super involved in not only the hockey community but the women's sports community. They have partnered with Sue and Megan in the past, and
Yeah.
they're just superstars for our organization. So yeah, it sort of all came together by chance that we hosted our first event back then.
Great.
Awesome.
So are you calling this your 5th annual?
So this is
This
actually
year?
our sixth year,
Okay.
and we now host. It is the largest Pride hockey tournament in the world, which is crazy to say out loud.
Yes, yes. I love it. And tell us now, because you said you started with 4 teams back in 2021. How many teams are you guys planning on having this year?
Yeah, so we're up to 20 teams this year, close to 300 participants. We've got
Amazing.
people who fly literally all over the world. We had folks join us from Australia last year, so it's truly we are spanning continents now.
That's
Amazing.
amazing. That is so amazing. Okay, so and what's the criteria? Are these just teams that like identify like they have a, queer identity of some sort, and so that's the participation criteria? I'm curious.
Sure, no, that's a really great question. Ever since our first tournament, we set out with this goal of just trying to create what we called the most inclusive hockey tournament possible. We didn't truly understand or know what that meant back in the day. We were just trying to create a space where it felt like everyone could come and play hockey. We saw a lot of organizations like ours in different parts of the country who were sort of focused on different communities, whether it was just cis white gay guys or something like that. It hypersexualized the sport, things like that. And we were like, we want to stay away from that. We truly just want to be an inclusive hockey organization. So what we pride ourselves on now is creating a really inclusive hockey space. And what that means is when players arrive for the tournament, we do what's called a draft style tournament. So everyone comes in as a free agent, and we actually build the teams based on skill,
So they don't
based
come
on
in as
gender.
teams.
They do not come in as teams, and we did that intentionally because we wanted folks to be able to meet each other and connect with, players from all over the world.
Amazing.
So this model has been really successful. We talk with folks who are like, they met someone their first or second year, and they started dating, and now they are married because of the tournament. They met their partner. It's like,
Yes.
this is incredible. Not only are we playing hockey, but we're
Matchmaking.
playing the matchmaking. Exactly.
I love it. So I'm assuming we're talking a mix of all sorts of people, whether that be, obviously, like you said, cis men, cis women. I'm assuming trans players, the whole gamut. So, Talk to us a little bit about that. What the
Yeah.
mix is, if you can tell us like demographically. I'm just kind of interested. So
Yeah, no, great questions. Yeah, we so this the tournament this year, the mix is we're close to 70% female and trans identifying. So it's the first year where we're fully shifted away from the male side of things, which we're so excited
Wow.
about. We've got folks traveling. 30% of our participants travel from outside of Washington, so we're spanning from coast to coast, which is lovely to see. One of our big focuses, especially the last few years, is how we uplift and support the trans community. We This was a really great discovery we found in our second year because of our draft style setup. The trans community reached out to us. There's an organization called Team Trans, and it's a team that assembles themselves. They're players from all over the U.S. and Canada, and they'll form a team called Team Trans, and they'll play in different tournaments throughout the country, throughout the year. And they reached out to us and said, "Can we bring a team to play in the tournament?" And our first response was like, "Well, no,
yeah,
this
not
is
the
the
way
setup
not
of
the
our
way it
tournament.
works.
This
Yeah.
is not the way it works." And maybe a month went by, and they reached back out with some additional friends from the NHL, asking to have a conversation with us. And we're like, "This is interesting." Like, we told them no and gave the criteria. Like, we're trying to build a community where everyone gets to meet each other. And we sat down. It was Team Trans, the captains of Team Trans, two representatives from the NHL, and Steven and I, our other co-founder. And it was such a brilliant conversation because we came in thinking we knew how to make an inclusive hockey space. And they came in and told us, if you want to create an inclusive hockey space, allow trans players to have their own community, to essentially establish their own safe space within the tournament. They found that when they travel as a draft tournament or to a draft tournament and players are sort of separated, that it creates sort of these not dangerous situations or unhealthy situations, but they felt much more uncomfortable when they were sort of separated. And it took that learning, that space for them to reach out and say, "Hey, Seattle Pride Hockey Association, to make this inclusive, we want to be a team. We need to be a team to create a safe locker room environment, to create a safe on ice environment." And it was like just light bulbs exploded. It was like, oh my gosh, like here we are thinking we know what we're doing. And it's like, no, no, no. So part of that conversation was, this is how we need to do it. And ever since, we've allowed Team Trans, and we actually have two trans organizations playing in the tournament this year, which we're thrilled about.
That's awesome. So there's two separate teams now that come
Yep. So
and
we have
play. Yeah.
Team Trans and then another
Yeah.
organization called Trans Wave.
Transwave.
So
Okay. That's very cool.
I
That's
love that you brought an open mind to that because even though
I know.
knowing that you're like, no, we have this, we know what we want to do is create this open
Mhm.
community, but to be open to hearing like this is our experience and this is
yeah.
what we need. That's amazing.
Yeah. That is amazing. Okay. So, I want to shift a little bit. Well, actually, before we shift away from talking about the tournament, I want to ask the question: how can our fans, support you guys? What can we do? We love to come out and watch rec hockey. I mean, we're coming. We're going to be there. Like, what's the support? What can we do? Like, how can we ask people to help?
Yes, well, just a few more details on the tournament. So
Oh
we're
yeah,
fully sold out, which is super exciting.
for
So
players,
like I mentioned, for
right?
players,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
fully
yeah.
sold out for players. The tournament's actually free for fans to come and watch and spectate. So the tournament is hosted at the Seattle the Kraken Iceplex.
Yeah.
This is our fifth year there. So the tournament will run Friday through Sunday, June 12th through the 14th. So just before all the FIFA festivities begin.
Yes.
But attendance is free for fans, so folks are looking to come out. Our games run from morning till evening. We have all three sheets of ice for a good stretch of time.
Awesome.
We've got music, DJs on Sunday. We usually bring out a marching band. So it's truly a really fun experience for those who are coming to watch.
Oh, that's
And merch, you got merch?
We've got merch.
well,
We've got
and
it
I know
all.
they have
Jerseys.
vendors, and they have
Right.
vendors that come too, because we know Lacey from Double Hockey Stick, so
Oh
I know she's
yes.
coming back, yeah, too. So
Oh yes. Oh,
yeah.
we love Lacey.
Yeah. Well, and
We do too.
we bought jerseys last year because we
Yay.
came. I mean, we just like I said, this was. I mean, it happened like
In
after
our
the team.
infancy.
Yeah, after the team was announced, before we really got ramped up, right? And so for us, we're like, oh, gay hockey, yeah, like sign us up. Like, what do we, so we went and it was so fun. And like I said, like jerseys and all the whole nine. So
Yeah.
it was very fun last year. But now that we're a little more embedded in the community, I think it's going to be even more fun. So
Oh
very
yeah,
excited.
it's it's this like queer utopia that truly exists for this short period of time, and it's fun now that we've had so many folks over the past 5 6 years who've been part of the community. It's the tournament in a lot of ways. The organizing piece of it is really starting to run itself. We have such a beautiful volunteer army who helps bring the tournament to life. But it's really about the stories that we're hearing now. I mentioned earlier that there are people who have met who are now married or lifelong friends because they met at the tournament. Last year, there was a mom who came to watch their son play for the first time. Their son came out as trans, I think 3 or 4 years earlier, and the mom was sharing that this was the first time that they saw their son truly be themselves in this space.
Oh,
And
wow.
the mom was crying, and she's telling me this, and I start crying, and we're hugging each other. And of course, the son comes out after playing and is like, "What is going on?" You're like, why are you both crying? And we're like, we hug this, and we're like, oh my gosh, like
Oh.
this is so magical. So
Oh.
it's the stories and just friendship that we've seen are truly what make the weekend magical.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Any more questions about the tournament or anything?
Oh, just so there a championship game on Sunday? Like, does it all culminate into one winner, or how is this like round robin? What tell us structure here.
Yeah, so we have three conferences throughout the tournament. So they're based on skills. So we've got a really competitive division, sort of mid-tier division, and then a social division. So yes, on Sunday we've got our three championship games. They're sort of spaced throughout the day. We've got trophies and medals and all that jazz. We've got the full schedule on SeattlePrideHockey.org for those who are interested. Yeah, Sunday will be the big hurrah of the weekend, and then on Saturday we host what's called the All Stars of Pride game. So players, participants throughout the weekend nominate players from other teams who helped sort of make the weekend inclusive, make the weekend fun. And those players are put together onto our All Stars of Pride team. So it's a sort of our way of celebrating, the best of the best who make the weekend super fun. So that's another great event for folks who are looking
Is
to
there
come
a
out.
skills competition with the All Stars, or it's just All Stars game?
It's just an all stars game,
Love
and
it.
when I say all stars, it is not about the skill. It is truly just the people who have made the
I love
weekend,
qualities.
as beautiful and inclusive as possible.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
that's
I love
amazing.
it.
Oh, how fun. Okay, so SeattlePrideHockey.org is where people can go and look up the schedule and that sort of thing. Okay,
Yes,
that's
indeed.
amazing. I want to shift a little just because, our focus is the Seattle Torrent and women's hockey.
Yes,
And so I
yes,
want to
yes.
talk about for you guys what you've seen over the last year of obviously like we're now coming up on the anniversary of having the team announced and how has this impacted you guys as an organization? And I'm sure it has. So I would love to hear more about that now that we have two professional hockey teams here in Seattle. So
And I hear when you
Yes.
talk about the Kraken, I hear a lot of we in there. So are you are aligned with the Kraken? You are a fan? Have you
We
embraced the
I
torrent as well?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I am a fan of both. You should have heard the cheers and screams in our house when the torrent were announced. We
yeah.
as I mentioned, our the founding of our organization was in part thanks to the help and support that we got from the Kraken back in the day. So they've just become really great friends of ours. They've helped build community. Everyone truly from the top of the organization, we've met with ownership team, and it is so empowering to hear that their organization really truly deeply believes in our mission, our cause, what we're trying to accomplish. They've been allies of ours since day one. So to see and have space now for a women's hockey team in Seattle is like, yes. There's nothing truly more exciting than having two, not just one team to watch. As I sit at my desk drinking out of my rough and tumble
Represent!
glass,
Yay!
Yes.
Yeah.
it truly just goes to show what an awesome community we have in Seattle around hockey. Uh, you know, to be able to sell out our arena for, to welcome our team back from the Olympic, like, where else are these storylines happening? Like, it's just incredible. Like, Captain America, like our
Yeah.
hero, literally playing for our team in year one. It's
Yeah.
like you can't write it any better. Obviously,
Mm-mm.
the season, we wish could have gone a little better, but to be able to, sell out an arena in year one is like, that's our gold medal.
Yeah,
The team is going to get
absolutely.
stronger and better, and
Yes.
we'll get to that point. But it's like we've got the biggest win under our belt already with with full stadium. So I love to see it.
Yeah. And as I kind of touched on earlier, and I'd love to hear your opinion and talk about this just a little bit more. In the women's hockey community, queerness, non-binariness, even, and obviously U.S. women's hockey or U.S. hockey has a stance on trans players, but I just think in general, it's a very inclusive, accepting, loving community, the women's PWHL, the women's hockey community in general. And I know, we know this, that the NHL still has light years to go to get up to speed and not having any out NHL players. We all know, like we're sitting here and we're like, this is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
There has to be gay men playing in the NHL. There's no
Right,
way statistically that there are zero gay men playing in the NHL. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
how do we as a community, obviously like as, queer women being part of women's sports, like how do we also influence, that side of the coin and help, and help bring that along for, I mean, I would love for, someone to say, it's me, I'm the
Yeah,
first, I'm the first. And I don't know what that's going to take because I'm sure the environment is very scary when you're talking about your livelihood and how do you come out in a space that may not be accepting of you. But anyway, I'll stop talking and I want to hear your opinion.
yeah. I Pride is a really funny thing. It's like you almost have to look back at when the reason we celebrate Pride today is because trans women of color threw bricks at police. Like,
Yes.
we celebrate pride and like this is the reason we have parades and floats and all of it's like the origin story wasn't pretty. Like we've come so far
Yeah.
that I think we're in the middle of the book right now. The book is still being written, especially on the men's side. You see so much progress and light and community around what the women were able to accomplish at the Olympics, right? Like it feels so heroic to be able to like see that. Obviously, the men's side is a completely different story, but like the narrative that we see on the women's side is just like that's the hockey community we want to create. And on the PWHL side, we have visible heroes, like truly the captain of our team, the captain of the country. Like we see this every day and are able to celebrate it. So
Yeah.
there are definitely there are folks at the NHL who are truly fighting the good fight. We're friends with a lot of them. When we see some of the pushback from the NHL around pride tape or warm up jerseys or things like that, I truly just see it as it's one step back, two steps forward. It just means we need to fight harder. We need to be louder about the things that we care about and the reasons of why those things are important. That visibility matters. To the young Joeys seeing those pride jerseys and things like that, they truly matter. The visibility of that is so important. And we've been on the men's side to see folks like Luke Prokop, tell his story and be out and visible and proud. He's become a big friend of the tournament. He actually plays in the tournament, which we
That's
love having Luke.
that's right. I forgot that he was there last year. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah. I do. I remember that now that you say that. Like it totally had slipped
right.
my mind. Yeah, that's awesome.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's there's so much progress left for us to achieve.
But I love to hear that the Kraken have embraced you and are working with you hand in hand, skate and skate, and just that's heartening to hear that, and just hope that continues along the same vein.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and then on the women's sides with the PWHL, we of course great friends with our friends at the Torrent. As part of their Pride Night coming up, we've actually I believe we're part of one of their intermissions, so we've got
That's
some.
That is what we
Yes.
heard. We actually
Yes.
we did an interview with it's a long story, but it's pair of moms who had a 8-year-old skater in the Oops All Goalies tournament.
Yes.
Yeah, and we call her Baby Crab.
Yeah,
And so we just
Yes.
Hannah
talked
and
to her, and
Ellie.
Hannah just told us that she was going to be skating in intermission and Pride with you guys. And I was like,
Yes.
what a small world. Like I was like,
Oh
that's
yes.
yeah.
We're so excited. Yeah, we got a great group. So we'll be cheering them on.
Oh, that's amazing.
Love
That's
it.
yeah, that's great. Um, what else, babe? Do you have
I don't know. I just want to go back to the beginning of your this interview, really, Joey, and it's just stuck with me. And you say, wearing the pride tape and just immediately connecting with Steven. And that's one of my favorite things in life is a very short coming out story that people can hear, like pride tape. With me, it's like my wife, and I tell everyone this is my wife, and it's my entire coming out story in 2 words. And I
Right.
just I just like to just come out with that. And so you hearing the story, hearing the story of the Pride tape is just really, it's deep in my heart, and just that small way to come out and be out. So just wanted to shine a light on that too.
yeah.
No, I appreciate that. It's one of my sort of mentors as I was coming out shared this phrase with me, and I credit it with a lot of the reason I met Steven and the reason I play with Pride Tape. They shared with me, do something every day to queer your space,
Mm.
and it can be big, it can be little. Small things like just putting your pronouns in an email signature. It's not an act of resistance. It's just an act of visibility.
Yeah.
Playing with pride tape is the same thing, right? It's rainbow tape on a hockey stick. There's nothing,
Yeah.
wildly chaotic. Like I'm just truly playing hockey. I have tape on my stick. It happens to be a rainbow, but that message, that visible sign is so 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 important, especially when you scale it up and you look at the PWHL or NHL and you see players warming up with pride tape on their sticks, and it's like, yep, you have some of the best of the best, doing such a small act of allyship. It sends shockwaves throughout the hockey
Yeah.
community. It's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Well, and talking about pronouns, because we have, CJ, Carly Jackson is on the
Yes,
team and
yes.
they use she, they pronouns. And so I think for us, like we actually were talking about this yesterday, is that for me, even though she is part of their pronouns, I think for the visibility, like you said, just for it's more of it's, obviously respecting their wishes as far as like what people want to be addressed by, what name they want to use, what pronouns they want to use, like all of that is a respect thing, but I also think like it's a visibility thing, like you said, because they are a superstar, and by everyone choosing, and we've seen it in the comments and the fans and everything, choosing to use the they pronoun, it's normalizing it, right? So like
Yep.
now everybody's like, no, it's totally normal to call CJ they. That's the pronoun that they choose to use, right? And my hope is that for other non-binary, folk, that will then definitely lift them up in a way that says like, oh, I can choose to push back and say, no, these are my pronouns, please use them, or whatever the case might be, because, CJ is able to do that. And I know there's other examples, but like you said, Luke Prokop, like the fact that like he is open and out, and yes, still playing hockey professionally, like it's a great example for other little ones to see. And it's not all about the next generation, but there's a big part of that it's like, if you can't, it's hard to imagine what you can't see. And so if you can't see somebody, reflecting who you are in the life, you know forward, it's I think it's hard to envision that. So
Yeah, and
Also
how
along the
cool.
same, oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Joey.
uh, how cool that we get to do this through hockey. Like
yeah.
this learning is taking place through
Yeah.
hockey. Like of all
Yeah.
things. It's so
Yeah.
No, you're
cool.
talking to someone who was not a hockey fan like 3 years ago. Like it's the
3
funniest
years
thing in the
ago?
world. 2 years,
Generous.
yeah, 2 years ago and a half years,
Uh,
whatever. So like for me, the fact that it's like we joke because we laugh. We're like, yeah, the fact that we have a hockey podcast. Like if you had known me, 5 years ago, you'd be like, no, that's not ever going to be a thing. But like, the fact that like, yeah, it's just in the community. For me, it's 100%. It's the community. Like hockey's fun. Like don't get me wrong. Like I love the hockey, but I really love the community that we've started and that we're growing here. So
Absolutely.
what were you gonna
so
say?
special.
Oh, I was just gonna say, even with someone with boring pronouns like she, her, just putting them out there and normalizing, like, hey, this is who I see myself as. Who do you see yourself
Yeah.
as? And no, and when I see someone else put their pronouns out there, like, oh, I know they're an ally immediately. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the pronouns are. It doesn't matter if you're coming out with your pronouns. I know that I'm safe showing my entire self to you. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to, even with regular whatever pronouns, that aren't
I love it.
boring.
The boring
They're-
pronouns.
I love
just
that.
put them out there. So people feel safe, because that's what I want. I want everyone to feel safe to be themselves with us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to, it's like the basics. Like you create a safe space and then people can build community from there. One of our organization just went through sort of we're I wouldn't call it growing pains, but we're looking at what the next, 20 years might look like for our organization. And we're, part of that is fundraising. Part of that's just, making sure we have the right core of our organization, right? It's a nonprofit, it's a business, we're trying to be successful. So we just relooked at our mission and vision and our values. And we took another look back at our values. It was a really fun exercise of like, what are all the things that are really important to us? And one of the sort of common themes that just came out of everything was this really simple phrase that queer joy is the point. The reason we do all of this is for queer joy, right? We get to play hockey and that's part of the fun. We're building a community, that's part of the fun. We want it to be safe and educational. We want to bring allies along and that's part of the mission. But like at the end of the day, like what are we doing? We're creating queer joy.
Yeah.
We're providing this space for people to, to live, to experience, to play, to feel joy in a world that's really chaotic at points.
Yeah.
be allowed to feel their
Right.
joy out in the open.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
What else?
I have a last word in mind.
Okay, yeah. Well,
last
this is, I
words,
don't know if you've listened to the podcast, Joey, but this is what we do. Patty always gets the last word. What is the last word?
A space. Just thank you for queering up our space, Joey. We appreciate it. We
Yeah.
really
Thank you.
do.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
just as a reminder for everybody, we are recording this probably a little too early. We're going to put this out a little bit later, probably. So just so everybody knows, we're talking about, a hockey game that probably happened weeks ago for when this for when this episode is going to come out. But June 12th, 13th, and 14th is the Seattle Pride Classic tournament.
it's
It is
free.
free for fans. It sounds like there's some really fun things. Seattle Pride hockey.org is where you can find the schedule. So I'll say that out loud too. And we just really appreciate you, Joey.
And come early to the tournament. Last year we came late. Do you remember that?
I
Ben?
don't think we came out till Sunday. I think that
Yeah.
was the problem.
And we did get jerseys, but they were way too big.
Yeah.
It's like the merch was sold out, which we want. We want you to sell every sticker,
Yes, every
everything,
every piece of merch.
sticker, every button, everything.
Yeah.
But come get some merch, and we're gonna eat there.
And cheer on, cheer on the players. Cause really
Absolutely.
that's, I mean, again, like queer joy, like that's exactly how I felt being there. I was like, oh, this is like the most fun. Like, it was a fun environment. And I don't know. I mean, do you play in the tournament now?
I try to, so I'll sub into a few games if a team needs another player. So I do get to sneak out there for a little bit, which is great.
So, and you could probably say this firsthand then. It's like, I know, and we've heard from other people, I mean, we're not players, but like they enjoy having fans in the stands. Like it's fun to have people cheering on the teams, right?
They do. We send a survey out at the end of each tournament, and there's this, I love this stat. The question is, would you play again next year? And for every single year we've hosted the tournament, 100% of players want to play again next year. Like it's like, that's the place we want to be,
Yes.
right?
100%. Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
Okay, so too late to sign up to play this year, but that's okay because you guys will continue to do this. So if people are interested and
Sure
didn't
will.
get in this year, they can definitely get in next year. So,
Absolutely.
Joey, thank you so much for your time. We
Thank
appreciate you.
so much. We can't wait
Yes.
to be
Yeah,
there.
we can't wait to be there. It's going to be fun.
Such a pleasure. Can't wait to see you all there.
Okay.
Bye.
And that's the show. Tune in next time for another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.